Hi there, I just want to introduce you to our newest development, our newest invention. So this is a product that we are calling the Elliot Ring, and it is a combination, a hybrid of a separating ring and an Elliot separator. And it's been in development for a little over a year, maybe a little longer, and it's designed to act like a separating ring, but to give you complete control over how much separation you get. And also, it's got very wide tines so that the ring is much less likely to deform. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of it. It's like an Elliot separator back. The angles have been really carefully planned to allow it to sit on the teeth, and the screw here that tightens it has been designed to be able to insert from either end of the separator so that it can work for both the left and the right, or cross over to get the most favourable insertion point. Okay, so let's have a little look at the Elliot ring in action. So I've got a MO cavity here, and I'm going to start by just choosing my wedge. So with these typodont teeth, sometimes it's quite difficult to get a wooden wedge to sit below the margin horizontally. Bit easier in real life in the mouth, but on these it's tricky. So I'm going to pick a one of these low profile diamond wedges. That sits lovely. Now these are great, but one of the problems with them is they don't, in my opinion, give quite as much separation as the wooden wedges. And so as you probably know, I quite like to use a ringless technique, but these can be troublesome. And there is times where you need some more separation, you need to tip the band, etc. And a lot of people like to use them anyway, which is where the Elliot ring is going to come in handy. So here I've got a large titanium tourbillon band, and it's going to fit nicely into this cavity. But you could choose any matrix band. You're just trying to choose that lovely profile to create a nice curved contact point, which is much more favourable. Okay, and then we're going to place our wedge. So just hold that steady and push this in. Okay, and there we've got a really nice situation, but maybe we haven't got quite enough separation, and maybe we could add some liquidam to steady it. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the Elliot ring here. So let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see it fully. Now the Elliot ring, again, you can move this bar to either side, so unscrew it and put it in the other. So it just depends where's best for the patient's mouth, particularly, so which way to fit it. But you just open it up a little bit, and it's got these really beautiful wide tines with lots of space for the wedge underneath. So that's kind of designed off one of our favourite rings. So it goes in nice and wide, which means that it hopefully won't collapse the band in, and then you can simply tighten it. Okay, and I'm starting to engage now, and then I can carry on tightening it as much or as little as I want. And that control, rather than being spring mechanized, is one of the big advantages of this device. So I can have a look. Is it starting to deform the band, which we know is a big risk with rings, or is it sitting beautifully? And that's really looking quite nice, so I can fill that. I'm just going to zoom in a touch. But you know, if that was just a little bit too much or starting to buckle, I can just take a little turn off the ring, or I could tighten it a little bit more. You see, if I keep going and going, that's going to start to buckle in, and that is what happens with the rings when we can't control the tension that's put on them. Okay, I'm just going to show you another little trick of how I've been using these. They've only just arrived, but I've been using a prototype for a few months. And one of the things I quite like to do is control the ring in terms of how much it's going to deform and press in. So what I've been doing is just adding a little bit of liquidam into the embrasures. So you can think about those rings where you are picking the different insert to go into these areas. So kind of taking the fitting process out, and I'm just putting in that liquidam, and it's going to block up the embrasure space and stop the band from collapsing in. So I can light cure that, and then we can bring the Elliot separator in. Okay, we don't need to doesn't need loads of tension. Yeah, it's just going to go in like that. A couple of turns just to add a little bit more tension. Okay, check that it's not deforming, and zoom in, and it just create the most beautiful profile. When you use it this way, it's very controlled, unlike using a ring. Okay, so that's yeah, just comes away like that, and then we can flick off the liquid dam how we would normally, really. Okay, so these Elliot rings have just arrived. They're obviously fully autoclavable, stainless steel. So hopefully give them a try, be one of the first people to use them. And I'm sure there'll be a load of more tricks and skills that you can do with these, maybe some variations, because as always, dentistry is evolving, and I'm hoping this is going to be a really big upgrade on traditional rings with some real advantages that's going to make dentistry easier and more accessible for everyone. Thank you.